The massive lion hung suspended in the air, his body fully stretched as he hurled himself into the void. Below lay nothing but open sky and the deadly drop to the Serengeti Basin far beneath. Above, frantic wings beat the air as a martial eagle struggled upward, clutching a small amber cub in her talons. The cub twisted and cried, his tiny voice ripped apart by the rushing wind. Ragnar did not think about the fall. He did not imagine shattered bones or jagged rocks waiting to claim him. His amber eyes were locked on one thing alone, the terrified face of his son, growing smaller against the endless blue of the savanna sky. In that suspended moment between earth and air, between survival and oblivion, Ragnar was not king of the plains. He was only a father, one who had already endured unbearable loss and would not let it happen again. The wind screamed as gravity gripped him. But this is not where the story truly begins. Every view, share, and subscription to Animal Rescue Tales helps bring real tales of animal devotion into the world. If this story moves you, consider subscribing. Together we celebrate the bonds that make the wild extraordinary. Now, let us go back to the time when a king became a father, and a father became something the wild had never seen. 3 months earlier, dawn spilled across the Serengeti Basin like molten gold. The vast expanse 20 kilometers wide, stretching to distant ridges, glowed in shades of amber and rose. Its rolling plains trapped life and moisture in a natural sanctuary, a world unto itself, where predator and prey moved to ancient rhythms beneath an unblinking sun. Ragnar stood atop a rise, gazing across the basin floor. At 5 years old, he was at his peak, dark mane full, body honed by countless successful hunts. Beside him stood Lyra, smaller and sleek, her amber coat catching the morning light. Her calm eyes scanned the territory with quiet assurance. They had ruled together for 2 years, an eternity in lion terms. They knew each other's moods, silences, and instincts. Neither knew this dawn would be their last together. The warning came as thunder, deep bellows rolling across the plains. Buffalo. Something had startled the herd below, sending tension rippling outward. Hunger sharpened Ragnar's focus. They had eaten little in days. Zebras were scarce, wildebeests alert. Buffalo were dangerous, but possible. Lyra looked to him. Should we risk it? She carried cubs, and hunger made the risk urgent. Ragnar pressed his forehead to hers in a rare touch of tenderness. Then they descended. At first, the hunt went perfectly. Ragnar circled wide. Lyra flowed through the grass like liquid sunlight. Ragnar burst from cover with a roar, sending the herd into chaos, hooves rattling the earth. Lyra struck a young bull lagging behind, claws sinking deep, fighting for the kill. Then the herd turned. One cow charged, slamming into Lyra. Another, then another. Ragnar was too far. In seconds, Lyra vanished beneath horns and hooves, swallowed by blind fury. Ragnar ran, roaring challenges meant to terrify, but buffalo do not yield to blood. When he reached her, the herd was gone. Lyra lay broken in the trampled grass, breath shallow, body destroyed. Ragnar approached, releasing a sound lions rarely make, a thin, broken whine. She looked at him once. Then she was still. Hours later, a faint cry reached him. From the grass, Ragnar lifted his head and understood. In her final moments, Lyra had given birth. 2 tiny forms lay hidden. One stirred weakly, crying. The other was still lost before it began. Ragnar touched the living cub. Instinctively, the tiny mouth turned toward warmth. By every law of the wild, Ragnar should have walked away. Male lions do not raise cubs. A lone newborn meant death. But Ragnar lifted the cub gently in his jaws and walked. He did not know where he was going, only that he could not abandon him. The days that followed were agony. The cub, whom Ragnar named Kovu, cried constantly for milk Ragnar could not provide. He warmed him, cleaned him, hid him while attempting brief hunts. Once, a hyena followed the sound. Ragnar killed it instantly. On the 3rd day, desperation drove Ragnar to a waterhole where zebras grazed. Instead of hunting, he did something unheard of. He approached slowly, peacefully, and placed Kovu between his paws. One mare who had lost her own foal hesitated, grief battling fear. Then she stepped forward. For precious minutes, she allowed the cub to nurse. When she fled, Ragnar understood. He had witnessed mercy. It would not happen again, but it had been enough. Enough to survive. Enough to adapt. Days passed. Ragnar learned to hunt faster, guard smarter, shelter better. In quiet moments, as Kovu curled against his chest, something inside the great lion changed. When Kovu opened his eyes on the 10th day, the rules of the wild had already shifted. Those eyes still blue, destined to turn amber like his father's met Ragnar's gaze. In them, Ragnar saw more than a cub. He saw purpose. A reason to rise each morning. A reason not to surrender to loss. The plains watched without judgment. Even the ancient acacias scattered across the basin might have paused at the sight of a male lion becoming both protector and nurturer, driven by a force beyond instinct. Weeks passed. Kovu grew stronger, learning to walk beyond Ragnar's shadow, discovering insects and clumsily pouncing. Ragnar nudged him upright when he fell. At night, when fear stole into Kovu's dreams, Ragnar answered with a low, steady rumble. "You are safe. I am here." Others noticed. Cheetahs paused, puzzled. Hyenas tested him and learned the cost of threatening a father. Eagles circling above memorized his routines. And it was that predictability that would betray him. Each morning, Ragnar brought Kovu to the same sun-warmed rock. Ragnar rested. Kovu played. They learned together. On the morning, everything changed. The sky was flawless. Ragnar lay half-dozing as Kovu chased a butterfly through the grass. The cub was 2 months old, strong and fast, the first hints of a mane darkening his face. Ragnar felt something dangerously close to peace. Then the shadow fell. Sunlight vanished. Talons closed. Kovu screamed as he was lifted into the sky. Ragnar surged forward. The eagle climbed, wings spanning nearly 2 meters, eyes fixed on the cliffs. Ragnar ran faster than ever. This was not pursuit. This was defiance. Male lions do not climb. But fathers, it seemed, would try anything. At the base of the cliff, Ragnar looked up. His paws bled, chest burning. He pressed his claws into the rock and began to climb. 55 meters above the basin floor, Ragnar clung to a razor-thin shelf of stone. He pressed his scorched muzzle against the rock and lifted his eyes. At last, he saw it. The nest woven from branches and dry grass was lodged in a hollow just a few meters above him. Its edge visible, a dark wing shifted. 2 cries carried on the thin wind, one sharp with hunger, one small, trembling, terrified. Ragnar was close. So close. After Lyra's death, after weeks surviving alone, learning protection without help, after a climb that shredded his paws and pushed him beyond limits, Ragnar was within reach of his son. The final stretch was cruel. Smooth stone replaced jagged holds. Ragnar saw the cliff as a puzzle, a crack, a hard ridge, a narrow ledge near the nest. He moved. Blood streamed from his paw. His hind leg trembled. Twice he nearly fell. Twice he forced himself onward. At 60 meters, Ragnar collapsed onto the ledge. For a long moment, he could do nothing but lie there, shaking. A creature made for endless plains had conquered a vertical wall through desperation alone. The eagle noticed him immediately. She was massive, beak curved like a blade, talons deadly. Her nearly grown chick shrieked and pressed flat. And there half-hidden was Kovu. Alive. Trembling. Whimpering. Alive. He locked eyes with Ragnar. Hope flickered. Ragnar rose, legs barely obeying, and stepped forward. The eagle screamed, wings flaring. Her chick shrank back. Ragnar advanced. His roar was hoarse, torn by exhaustion but unmistakable. "Give him back." The eagle shifted sideways, shielding her chick, retreating just enough. Ragnar reached the nest. Branches woven tight, wedged deep. Kovu lay trembling at its center, golden eyes mirrors of his father's. Ragnar reached in. His massive paw closed gently around his son. Kovu pressed against him, soft sounds of recognition and relief escaping. They had done it. The eagle lunged, but Ragnar twisted, shielding Kovu. Talons tore into him, ripping fur and flesh. Stones crumbled, pain exploded. Still, he did not release his son. The pool below called a chance at survival. 30 meters out, 15 meters down, Ragnar leapt. Wind tore through his mane. Gravity seized him. Kovu in his jaws. Water rushing up, they hit like falling stars. The pool swallowed them. Pain screamed, but Kovu lived. Ragnar dragged himself to shore, collapsing, legs trembling violently. Father and son returned from the impossible. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. Kovu crawled onto Ragnar's chest, trembling but unharmed. He kneaded weakly at his father's fur, tiny cries of fear and relief. Ragnar's heart shifted. He was no longer just a lion guarding a cub. He was a father. Exhausted, he groomed his son. Kovu purred a fragile, perfect sound. They remained by the pool until dusk, too weak to move, too grateful to fear. Other animals kept distance, sensing something extraordinary. The story of the climb and leap spread, becoming legend. Days passed. Ragnar could not hunt. Fever nearly claimed him. Kovu's warmth a lifeline. Slowly, strength returned, scars remaining as reminders of love's cost. Kovu thrived. Seasons passed. His mane darkened. He grew strong, confident, secure in love. One day, they stood beneath the cliff again. Kovu studied the height, then looked at his father. Something passed silently, understanding, recognition, gratitude. Ragnar rumbled with pride. Lions do not tell stories, they live them. And in the Serengeti Basin, if you watch closely, you might see a scarred old lion walking beside his son, a living testament that even in a world ruled by claw and fang, love can make the impossible inevitable. For love, anything can be done. For our children, no sacrifice is too great. And impossibility is only courage waiting to be chosen.